as someone that just kind of witnessed it firsthand with a guy that was well deserving and ultimately got paid, guys like DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel that are, hoping for a contract. DK didn't show up to the mandatory. Deebo did, but kind of did the same thing, hold in. Would you recommend that for players who have earned the right, but that's just kind of I think Minka did something similar during the offseason for you guys until he got paid. Do you think that's the way you would recommend as a veteran? If you're talking to any young player?
Yeah, I think going forward now, you got to show face. I think even from the Steelers' perspective, they've always been like, at least show up so we can get eyes on you. I think that's just like they want to invest in you or invest in a product. You want to see the product. It's hard, but that's got to be the new thing now. It's different. It might feel uncomfortable at times, but I think with the Steelers, we had open communication about it. Everybody knew Minka and TJ would be there, but you don't want to go out there and get hurt and risk everything. And that's from the player's perspective. You don't want to go out there and hurt yourself and then, flush away the money you would have just received. You're showing up to practice. You're taking care of your body still. It's just a matter of time of let's get this done. So that's a weight off your shoulders so you can just go out there and play.
Did TJ really barge into the Rooneys office and do the deal himself at the end, or is that a story that took on a life of its own?
I don't know. I don't know if he barged in. I know he probably had to clear with us, Mr. Rooney's secretary or something, but I don't know. It might have taken on a different story, but man, it will be revered as one of those legends that happened where TJ was like, "Get the deal done, let's get it signed." But I think we were all happy for him to get done because TJ has earned it, Minka has earned it. And we understand the players they are. And this was just validating that because we've seen what they've done week in and week out. They need to be paid like they're the top of their positions.
I think my favorite Steelers story over the last decade, it's funnier now than it probably was at the time, was you guys were playing a preseason game and there was a team playing and there were a couple running backs headed to the team playing, and there might live where I live, it's legal, going back and forth. I think the NFL doesn't even test for it anymore. And one of them didn't make the team plane. The other guy ends up on the team plane. It was LeGarrette and Le'Veon. You might have been a little marijuana going back and forth. Yeah. Do you remember that? And only one of them showed up. And was that just like everyone talking on the plane as you're going?
Well, we've always been told, if you don't make the team plane, you will get left. And I have anxiety about
it. Leave without you.
Yeah. And so I've always made sure I'm like at least 30 minutes early because I don't want to be that guy. And, we're getting closer to time and we're like, where are our players? LeGarrette shows up not dressed in a white tee and we're like, bro, get your stuff on. And then we were like, where's Le'Veon? And then it just took on a different meaning. We were like, you're not just late, you're dealing with something else. And I think Le'Veon caught a flight later that night, and we saw him at the team meeting, and we were like, ooh, damn, it's gonna be a hefty fine because Mike T doesn't play about missing. But we left it at that, and we just
let's talk about Tom. What's it like? Obviously, I think Tomlin's. I think it's safe to say, he's obviously well respected by fans, and he's just an incredible quote. Last year when the USC and he dropped the "Never say never, but never" it's an all timer. But that I think as the Antonio and Le'Veon, some of those things, his like status has even grown. Like I think on the outside we respect him more. It's like this guy can handle anything. Yeah. What's it like? You've been around him now for over a decade. Obviously, you guys are. It's safe to say he's your coach, but you guys are pretty close personally.
Yeah.
What's it like being Mike Tomlin's friend and his player?
It's crazy. Like I always revered Coach T before I even got here. I was like, man, I'd love to play for him. And now that I do, it means that much more to me. I'd run through a brick wall for him. He's got a Super Bowl, but I want to be able to hand him that trophy as well. He has pushed me. He has made me a better player. And the thing I love about it is he always tells us, I'm going to treat you fairly, but not equally. And, he's going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but other people need different things than other players. And so what player 53 on the roster might need something different than player 1 on the roster. And I think he's able to have those individual relationships with people to figure out what everybody needs. He knows how to push my buttons, and he's pushed my buttons a lot, and I've appreciated over the time. But it's only made me better, and I can't speak enough to the man he is. The single mindedness and tunnel vision he shows during the season allows us to just go out there and understand that football is our job, and this is what we need to take care of. He provides ownership and accountability to the group. And, with that, that creates honesty and creates a lot of transparency that if it's not handled the right way, your team will crumble and will falter because things weren't focused on properly, and things slipped through the cracks.
Well, what's the thing? The standard is the standard, right? And you guys just, there's an element of luck. You've never lost. Obviously, when you go to Ohio State, you're not going to lose much. But coming to the NFL, you have a lot of Ohio State teammates and guys that have played Ohio State over the last 20 years to go to crappy teams, and it's not their fault. But you guys just don't lose at Pittsburgh ever. And when it's the worst. And I always judge people on their lowest moments. That's why I give Belichick a lot of credit. A couple years ago, when the 20 season and Tom left, everyone acted like they were one. They did go 7-9. Now that's under 500, but a lot of teams, if their worst year is 7-9, it's not the biggest deal. You guys' worst years are 8-8 or better.
Yeah.
And last year is another good example of you just found a way and you end up in the playoffs. So obviously Mike's the voice of the team, but how much now do you guys, like, he relies on you because the coach can't say everything, right? So you have to be the voice for kind of him or the defensive coordinator. Do you feel that weight as a leader, or is it something now that's just part of the gig?
I think Mike T gives us the landscape and the environment to do it. And then I think it goes to the players. We have to be competitive as hell. We have to hold each other accountable. We have to push each other. I really do enjoy practicing and enjoy training with guys, because then you gain a level of trust. You understand what players can do, what they can't, but the communication gets better. And I've always been a big proponent on your leaders got to lead, and I got to make sure I do my job. TJ, Najee, Minka, these guys are, the stalwarts that got to lead the front and got to lead the group. So we appreciate that, but we always want to, make sure that we're pushing each other and making sure we're getting after each other.
Thanks for watching 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description, and make sure you subscribe right now to the Volumes YouTube channel.